For the Houston Texans, what more can you really say? Bill O'Brien won the power struggle, and you are ultimately, as an organization, going to ride or die with Bill O'Brien as both your head coach and your general manager, your personnel shot caller. Would I feel good about that if I was a Texans fan? Hell no! Why? A guy that can't get out of the first round of the playoffs, you've now rewarded by giving him control over personnel? Like, he's pulling the Belichick power grab with none of the history of Belichick. None of the performance of Belichick. None of the accomplishments of Belichick. I don't get it. You know, it's bad enough if you're the Texans going into the season, you lose Lamar Miller to the ACL tear. Then, in the past few days, we saw a couple of notable moves by the Texans. You trade away Jadeveon Clowney for basically peanuts. Horribly mismanaged that situation on so many different levels. It's one thing, look, if you don't want to keep him long term. But why would you have waited so long to make a move? Why did you wait so long? Whereas the Seattle Seahawks got a first-round pick for Frank Clark, they were able to turn around and give up Arcavius Mingo and Jacob Martin and a third-round pick for Jadeveon Clowney. Like, what am I missing here? How does this make any damn sense? And then to top it all off, you go out there and you make the trade for Laramie Tunsil, and you throw in Kenny Stills as well. And you give up 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick to do so. So ultimately, what you did was you traded away Jadeveon Clowney, 2 firsts and a second to get Laramie Tunsil, Kenny Stills, Barcavius Mingo, and Jacob Martin. Like, how could anybody view that as progress? How could anybody think that that's a good move? How could anybody look at that and have any confidence whatsoever in Bill O'Brien as the head guy for personnel? And as a result, how could you not feel that Bill O'Brien, the general manager, is ultimately going to negatively impact the mediocre Bill O'Brien head coach? I mean, I'm just saying, you look at the draft. You know, he took Titus Howard in the first round. You were thinking he's going to end up playing left tackle. He's not. They ended up trading a bunch of picks, premium picks at that away, to bring in Laramie Tunsil, who himself at this moment is still not established as an elite left tackle in the league. You're giving away an elite price for a non-elite player. It's one thing when the Bears give away 2 firsts and a second to get Khalil Mack because he was an elite edge rusher. He was an elite player. Laramie Tunsil's not elite yet. Just stupid and dumb. Just dumb, stupid. And then taking Titus Howard. Reportedly, they had a higher grade on him than Andre Dillard, and such a higher grade, they're playing him at guard to start the season. Now, good one there. You look at the rest of their draft class. Lonnie Johnson, Kahali Waring, Max Sharping, Charles O'Menahue. You know, a couple of those guys I think will contribute nicely long term. But you go into the season and you're like, what the hell was this guy doing? And so much upheaval late in the process. So you get rid of Clowney, who you had potentially anticipated having, but then when you didn't, you sat on your hands and waited to deal him. Then you bring in Laramie Tunsil at the last moment, so you got to sit there and get him acclimated to what your team's doing. Just horribly mismanaged. Bill O'Brien, if you will. Looking at this roster, though, what do you like? You have Deshaun Watson. They've got their young franchise quarterback that they've never really had. That's been established. Nuke, DeAndre Hopkins, is arguably himself the best wide receiver in the National Football League. Like, he is a beast. He is a force. He is a monster. Great partner in crime to have with Deshaun Watson. Then you look at the defensive side of the ball. You have J.J. Watt, who last year himself, if it wasn't for Aaron Donald, might have gotten a lot more love for Defensive Player of the Year with his, 16 sacks? You still have J.J. Watt on that defense, even though you no longer have Clowney. So you have some notable, big-time stars on both sides of the ball. The problem is you look at the offense. You bring in Kenny Stills, yes, but Will Fuller is the number 2 guy, but he played, 7 games last year? This dude just can't stay healthy. When Fuller plays, he makes big plays happen, but he has to be able to play, and he consistently shows that he can't stay healthy and stay on the damn field. Their offensive line, even adding Laramie Tunsil, and let's assume Titus Howard works out at the inside at guard, it's still not a great offensive line unit. You know, they still need help there. You know, they, in theory, have gotten better, but how much better have you gotten and how much better are you actually going to protect Deshaun Watson? And then you look at the running game. Now you're going into the season with a 1-2 combination of Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde in the backfield because Lamar Miller tore his ACL. How much confidence do you have in that running game for the Texans? I don't really know at this point. Early on, you look at this team, and I think the first couple of games are going to tell a lot about them. They have to go to New Orleans on Monday night, week 1, then they host Jacksonville week 2, then they got to go to Los Angeles to face the Chargers in week 3. You're going to find out early on how Tunsil impacts this offensive line and the protection for Deshaun Watson based off of facing guys like Cameron Jordan, facing guys like Ngakoue, facing guys like Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. You're going to find out very quickly. And you look at the schedule later on in the year, they got a 4-game stretch. They go to Baltimore in week 11, but then the next 3 games they host, but they host Indy, New England, and Denver, who with Chubb and Miller most certainly will be able to get after the quarterback. Yeah, you look at this is a team that made the playoffs last year, kind of seems to hover around that 9-7 type of range. But I just really don't like the makeup. And again, you're going all in for a left tackle when that wasn't the only need that you had even on your offensive line. It's questionable to say the least. And it's a shame, too, because I worry for the sake of Deshaun Watson that he's going to be put in a very bad situation. I think you're going to have games where this Texans offense is going to look really, really good. But I think you're going to have other games where they're going to struggle, and then that defense outside of J.J. Watt is going to struggle themselves. You might have a lot of people potentially picking them to win the division because of the Laramie Tunsil trade. I am not. I think they go in the other direction. I think Bill O'Brien's distracted with too many damn things, and he's not great at any of them. I think this is a 7-9 team that's going to finish 3rd in the division. You can at me all you want. I don't care.